Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly podcast. I am Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
We're here as always, but it's also a little different, isn't it?
It is a little different. This is our first show under the Buckeye Scoop banner. You can find us at buckeyescoop.com eventually this week in a couple of days, shooting for a Thursday release where you'll be able to log in and see all of the goodness. So we're looking forward to that. Tom, are you looking forward to it?
I am really looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while, actually. And now that it's almost here, it's you remember the scene where Homer is standing by the front door and like jumping up and down and waving his hands like, come on, we're going to miss it. Like that's me right now. Like, come on, launch the site, hurry up. But
that's right.
They, as you might expect, would like the site to be outstanding when they launch it. So that's good. We want them to take their time, do it right. And it sounds like we have a launch date of Thursday this week now, which is going to be awesome. I am so excited. We have seen obviously sort of the behind the scenes, gotten a sneak peek at some of the content that's coming soon. And when the first time we looked at the site, there was just kind of like a placeholder piece of content there. I was like, oh, I'd be interested in reading that. And that's one of the first things that's going to be on the site. So that's probably a good sign for what's to come.
Yeah, it's interesting back there. Now it is a new thing, and so this will be the first version of it, and it's a living, breathing thing, and it'll. We'll find some tweaks to make and things like that, and more stuff will be coming. There'll be bells and whistles eventually, but we want to get this thing rolling and get it out there for people, and we are looking forward to it. There's all kinds of plans, Tom, and the thing about plans is, they're all great and nice, but if you don't have enough people to accomplish them, then they just fall by the wayside. And I think one of the great things about this is we've got a lot of people who have a lot of plans, and there's enough people to get those things accomplished and to all input different ideas and then be able to bring those ideas to the readers. So I'm excited about that. We are coming from the Ozone, so that's where some people know us. Other people know us from just being Twitter idiots, probably. Yeah. And so for those who don't know everything about the Buckeye Scoop.com just yet, let's go over who all is going to be there. We'll whet your appetite for all of the good stuff that is going to be there. Now, when you talk about Ohio State recruiting coverage, there's names everybody knows, and right now we are going to have 3 of those names. And I say right now, it's like, no, they're there. It's not a temporary thing. You got Mark Givler, who comes over from Rivals, Bill Green, who comes over from 24/7, and Alex Gleitman, who also comes over from Rivals. These are 3 of the biggest names in the Ohio State recruiting sphere. All have their specialties, all have all of their connections and insights, and they know everybody. And so the fun thing is, not only is there going to be a ton of content from that, but there's also, we want this message board community to thrive. And so they're going to be there. You get on the message board, you hit them up, and we're all going to be there just hanging out, chatting, posting away. And so like, if you are into recruiting, then these guys are, you already know them. So you'll want to come and read what they have to say, talk to them, chat them up. And man, it's a loaded lineup. Just those 3.
Right. Yeah, just those 3. And that's a third of the staff. And those are 3 of, if you wanted to name, just start going down the list of Ohio State recruiting reporters, you would name those 3 pretty quick, pretty close to the top. Those are not just 3 guys who write about recruiting. Those are 3 of the best guys who write about recruiting. And you talked about the forums and get the opportunity to interact with them. As someone who has been doing this for a living for several years now, there's a bunch of stuff I'm interested in asking those guys. So I can only imagine people who are not necessarily living and breathing this every single day as a work thing, I can imagine that there's probably a whole bunch of information you'd like to get from them as well. But yeah, they are. I have recorded the first. What we're doing a morning podcast, and we'll get a little more detail with that later. But the first episode will drop on Thursday. I recorded already with Mark and Bill, and it was like, well, we're trying to keep these to 15 to 20 minutes each, and I have about an hour and a half of questions. So we may have to have you guys back on again at some point, because there is a lot to cover. And, things are actually going pretty well for Ohio State in recruiting right now, so it's something that I think a lot of people are interested in talking about.
Yeah, if there's one issue I have, it's with another guy who's going to be on the recruiting coverage, and that's Mick Walker, who he's a young guy, and I don't know if it was Monday morning. I see that he's already on the road out to Cincinnati at 5 a.m. to go talk to Jalen Johnson and Devontae Smith, a couple of commits in the 2021 class, and then Tegra Shabola in the 2022 class. And he's out and about doing that. And, when I saw that is when I rolled out of bed at 9 or something. And so I don't like to be made to feel bad. Like, that's not cool to me. And so this is, it doesn't have to be about me, but that's Bill and Mark have just both raved about this guy, this young Mick Walker, this young upstart who apparently does not sleep. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does as well. I really just, if you're into Ohio State recruiting, and I know most of you guys out there listening to us are, it's, there will be no better area to get your coverage than Buckeye Scoop. And that's not me selling this a little, but it's also, you can sell and also be completely factual, because with those four, there's no other, there's nothing like that.
Right. Yeah. There's not a group of proven reporters like those three guys. And, the initial burst of energy from Mick Walker this week was like, holy smokes. He's done more before. What was the old commercial? They would do more before 9 o'clock than most people do all day. Like, yeah, that's Mick. Mick has done more before 9 o'clock than most people do all day. And the second episode, unsurprisingly, on Friday, we'll have Mick on to talk about all of these guys he's talked to this week, because he has done a lot of work, and he said, can we wait and record that closer to Friday morning, because I have a couple more trips I'm going to be making between now and then. It was like, all right, well, we're only going to have about 20 minutes, so we're going to have to prioritize which of these guys we want to talk about, because you've done quite a bit already. But yeah, it is an incredible team, and Mick Walker might be the only name you don't know, but Bill Green called him, and I quote, the next Bill Green. So if you think Bill Green might know about something about what it takes to be Bill Green, then I think that probably is something that should probably carry some weight.
And Mick is also going to be working on basketball recruiting for Ohio State as well. In fact, he called me just a little bit ago. He was out on the road doing something, asking for some information about the team. And I was during lunch. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'm trying to have lunch here, and you're interrupting me with work. Okay? So that's Mick. And we're all looking forward to seeing what he brings, because we know it's a lot. Now, when we're talking about the message board, there probably, I don't know if there's anybody more well known in terms of the internet community, the Ohio State internet community, than Nevada Buck, who will also be with us and on the boards and looking to interact with everybody, as he has for forever. Tom, he, like me and you, he began his internet, the beginnings of his presence was at the Ozone, and he's moved here and there, and everywhere he goes, people follow, and he has, I'm looking forward to this, because we've known about him. You hear about him, the insights, the contacts that he's had throughout the years. People follow him. And so this is, we're talking about all of this news coming in, or these Bill Green and Mark Givler going out and talking to all of these recruits and that stuff. And then you'll have other stuff from Nevada in terms of insight from the insides of the Ohio State community. And so that's another area where the message board will be huge. That'll be there. He'll be there. And just more opportunity for interactions with people who know quite a bit about what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he's another person that if you have been around Ohio State athletics at all, that's a name, or at least, a handle that like that is not something that if you've been on any Ohio State site for more than 6 months or so, I don't think anyone's going, oh, who's Nevada Buck? I've never heard of him. Like that is the he's been an insider longer than most people on the beat have been, out of high school. So yeah, he's someone who I have never obviously worked at the same site as him, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with him, interacting with him, and gaining, hearing. I have a feeling there may be some stories there that'll be interesting to people who follow Ohio State football. Just stories now and stories over the years as well that are probably pretty entertaining, and I'm really looking forward to.
And we'll also get some of that from Kirk Barton, the former Ohio State offensive tackle All-American, who is also a very big part of the site. He'll be in there giving his insights on the message board, podcasts here and there, lends some the player aspect side of it. We'll let you know what is going on inside of just the player's mind in certain instances, and we'll give you the feedback on what it was like to play for Jim Tressel, what it was like to coach with Urban Meyer, what it's like to work with Mark Pantoni in the recruiting department. So all of these different insights that he has, as well as his way of delivering it. Tom, when Kirk was on the beat, or when he was a player, it was like he was a member of the beat, because the beat would go to him when they needed something good. When like you're looking for a story, you're like, you know what? I'll just go talk to Kirk, and then something will happen, and then I can write about that. And so I know when he left, there was like, gosh, who's going to be the next Kirk Barton? Who can we go to? Who can give us a quote that we can use? And, it's just too bad, like, his playing days were before Twitter, because he probably not only would have been a great quote that would have been tweeted instantly, but in his playing days, I could see that being a good time as well. He would probably tweet at halftime, that guy.
Yeah, he's someone who, obviously, again, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably remember Kirk Barton. You remember the pictures of him with the cigars, or walking off the field at Michigan in 2007 with the rose in his mouth. Like you've seen the pictures, the stories. But yeah, he is a memorable character, both in terms of being a football player and just as a person. Like, he is, however excited you are, and however excited I am, and however excited the listeners are about this whole site and the whole concept. Oh man, is Kirk Barton excited to get started. Like, I keep getting, I get calls from him at 9 p.m. on Saturday night. I get calls from him on Sunday morning. Like, it is like, he is raring to go. And I mean, that's awesome. Like, that's what you want. You want someone who is going to go a million miles an hour and be, doing everything he can to make this as exciting and great an opportunity and as a site for everyone. You mentioned he's going to be doing podcasts here and there, and his first podcast guest is a guy named Urban Meyer, who I guess he coached at Bowling Green at some point. I'm not really sure.
The guy from Fox?
Oh yeah. That he was the quarterback at USC, right? Is that, or am I thinking of the wrong person? No, it's Matt Leinart. Who's Urban Meyer? I forget. Anyway, so that guy, whoever he is his first podcast guest. So, I mean, if that's any indication, like, yeah, he'll probably have some stuff that you'd be interested in listening to from time to time.
You mentioned the phone calls. He called me the other day at 7 a.m, and obviously my brain isn't operating at that hour, so I'm trying to hit snooze on this loud phone, and it's not working. Then I look at it and I see like Kirk Barton's name on the phone. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a phone call. And so I answer. He's like, hey, how's it going? I tried to call. We're talking. And he's like, yeah, I called Mark like a half hour ago, but he didn't pick up. I'm like, yeah, that's not many people are going to pick up at 6:30 in the morning. And so, Mark knows Kirk better than I did. So he probably just, either didn't answer or, didn't even hear it. And so that's the excitement that is going around, and it's hard to contain. And so, somebody wants to call me at 7 in the morning and talk about this. I have no problem with that. Ross Fulton is also a part of this. And when you guys get to the message board at BuckeyeScoop.com when we launch it, and each of us who are have joined, wrote like why we are there, why am I here, why did we join? And what I said about Ross Fulton is every single site on the Ohio State beat has said we need a Ross Fulton. We need somebody to do what Ross Fulton does. And it's not, we need an X's and O's guys. An X's and O's guy. We need a Ross Fulton because he is the standard. So to have him breaking down games and breaking down plays and all of that different stuff with the video and, like I said, the X's and O's, that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that, just to the interactions, like how you're talking about, I have these questions that I want to ask on the message board. That's how I feel with Ross and going back and forth, because we go back and forth on Twitter, but this will be a more confined space where you can really get into stuff, and of course the readers can then get into it as well. So I'm looking forward to that. It's just too bad the season is still so far away.
This is a way to go through and kill the time before the season. There's plenty of past Ohio State football to go through with him. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Is you've got Ross, you've got Kirk, who obviously has played the game at a pretty darn high level. Like those are two guys who can probably come at it from a slightly different perspective, but have some really interesting insights on exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, like what the goal is. Because there's a lot of times you'll look at something and it's like, why the heck are they doing that? And there's some like really minute thing that they've picked up on film that, if you have not been meticulously watching Indiana film for the previous 2 weeks or whatever, that you might not understand why they're doing something different in a certain way. Ross is the guy who tends to be the person that picks that up, or even more interestingly, notices stuff in advance before it happens and goes, hey, this is something they should think about doing. And yeah, that's something that, it's not just going to inform you, it's going to make you smarter. Like you're not just going to know more information, you're going to be able to process information a little bit differently while you're watching games and understand the why behind things a little bit more. And, worst case scenario, you impress your friends and maybe someone buys you a beer, and that wouldn't be so bad.
So while like guys like Kirk and Ross make people smarter, then there's me and you. We're the rest of it. We're the other two. That I wouldn't say we're going to make you smarter, but we are part of the team, and so that's by proxy we also will make you smarter. So think about that. I was just thinking while you're talking, it's the message board basically with all 9 of us there. It's basically going to be like one giant group chat where everybody's involved, and people are stopping by and readers and looky-loos, and really that's what I'm looking forward to as well. Just chatting football, Ohio State basketball, recruiting, and doing it with guys who have the insight to, like Ross, to open your mind, Kirk to give you the experience, and Nevada to tell you something you didn't know, and then with Mark and Bank, Bill Green and Mick and Alex to give you the quotes from the players and their thoughts on where guys are leaning, because not everything a player tells them is something that they're gonna write about or put out there, because there's some things you don't necessarily write, but you can still like, well, he's leaning this way, or this is what I think, and so there's insights there as well. We really want to make this like a one-stop shop, and I think it is, because me and Tom will be doing football, I'll be doing basketball. We have more time to do stuff, do different things as well. This podcast obviously is going to continue, so that will be great for us. We'll be traveling to the games and doing the things that we've always done. So nothing will change that way. Tom, you're going to be doing some other things as well. And what will that be?
Yeah, I'm going to be still kind of doing some of the beat reporting kind of stuff with Tony, probably. I don't think there's going to be a real dramatic change in our sort of day-to-day work. But I'm also going to be doing, during games, I'm going to be shooting a lot more photos. I'm going to be the main photographer for the site, which is cool, because I started doing that just as it'd be nice to learn how to do this a couple years ago, and have gotten pretty into it and have enjoyed it and have been pretty happy with what I've gotten in terms of shots over the last year or two, and that's mostly just been pregame and postgame stuff. Not even shooting the games for the most part, because I was up in the press box covering the games with you. So that's gonna be cool. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also going to be hosting the daily morning podcast called Morning Scoop, and the goal is just basically like a 15 to 20 minutes. Here's what's going on. Here's what you need to know today. It'll be me and a guest, and sometimes that may be Gerd. Like I said, the first show we had Mark and Bill on just to sort of talk about the site and what's going on with that and what the vision is for that. On Friday, we'll have Mick on this week to talk about his travels, to interview different people. But it'll just be a different guest every day. Maybe it'll be staff people sometimes, and maybe it'll be other people outside of the staff sometimes. We'll just kind of figure it out and see what's going on in the news. And if it's a big recruiting week, we'll talk a whole bunch of recruiting. If it's a game week, I may have Ross on to talk about here's what Ohio State may be looking to do to take advantage of Michigan's defense, because, it is not easy to take advantage of Michigan's defense when you're Ohio State these days. So, you'll have insights on stuff like that. And yeah, it should be just a fun, easy listen, hopefully. And if you're commuting in to the city or going to work or whatever, and it's, got 15, 20 minutes to kill, it'll just kind of give you, the idea is just to give you what you need to know, what you want to know, before you get to work. Just nice, make your drive nice and easy and a little bit informative.
Now, I have not been contacted to be on the show yet.
I'm not sure you and I would work as a podcast. I'm not. I don't know if it's going to be a good night. We'll see. Maybe I'll try and squeeze you in at some point, but no promises.
Should I call your people?
Yeah, have your people call my people. Yes.
Thank you. I'm just looking for just trying to get my foot in the door. So if I can do that, that would be great. And there are other shows coming as well. I know Mark and Bill are going to do a recruiting show, so that'll be part of it. So we'll have an entire podcasting radio network that we'll release later on and let you know everything coming. But you're going to be looking at something every day to listen to, and something every day, more than something, a lot every day to read. And then, we'll be in the message board, on the message board, hanging out, talking Ohio State, talking whatever, just because, we're hanging out and we're there and we want to engage with the fans. Because the other thing is, Tom, all of us here, the vast majority of us have experience for years of being on message boards and interacting with people and talking to Ohio State fans. So this is like, we're not, some sites don't really care to do that, or some people who have this job don't really want to interact with the fans and would rather be doing anything else, or they think that, their interaction with fans is on Twitter and that's enough. But, this is a community and that's what we want. And the best sites have the best communities. And so that's the goal here, is to have a place, one-stop shop. You go, you got everything you need there. Hang out, get informed, be entertained. Really, how they put everything into wax so the players won't leave. And so that's maybe all we're missing is Big Buck Hunter on the message board. Maybe we can get a video game in there or something, or a pool table, and then nobody has to go anywhere else.
I could use a barbershop right now, but that would be good if we can work that out. But yeah, this is setting up to be about as much of a one-stop shop as you're going to find anywhere. I mean, you've got your recruiting, you've got your X's and O's, you've got your beat coverage. Like that's it. That's what there is. And it's going to be written, it's going to be photos, it's going to be video, it's going to be live streams, it's going to be podcasts. I mean, we have just sort of tested out some of the live stream stuff, and you and I in previous years have done like live stream a pregame show, live stream a postgame podcast. Like what we're going to be able to do with that this year on this new platform is incredible, like light years ahead of what we've been doing in the past. I am really excited to get to roll all of this stuff out. And, the timing for this is pretty darn good because guess what? Next Monday, players come back to Ohio State. So the timing for all of this as we are rolling out this new site is coinciding pretty neatly with the return of players and the return of news to the Ohio State football beat.
Yeah, and there may be some type of an availability this week with maybe a coach or something like that. So we'll have more on that in the next show. When that happens, we will hopefully be talking with Ohio State players or coaches next week as well. Maybe not players just yet, but yeah, people are arriving, they're coming back, and we have, and we're launching this. So like you said, it is good timing. The other good thing, Tom, is we're talking about all of these things that we're doing and this one-stop shop. And the nice thing is that if there's stuff that we're missing, we still have the capability of adding to it or providing something that is missing. If fans let us know, hey, we'd like to see that, we can see it if that's a possibility. And there's enough people here that there's a good chance of making stuff like that happen, especially when the desire to make this the best place on the Ohio State internet globe, the desire is there, and we're willing to do that, and we're excited to do that because, like I said, we want this to be the best community out there. So for a little bit more information, it will be a subscription-based site. The numbers right now, it'll be $12.99 a month, or the annual rate is $139.99. Not everything will be behind the paywall. The message board will be behind the paywall. Obviously, there'll be some recruiting stuff behind the paywall. Tom, you and I are not premium information, so we will be in front of the paywall.
You can say that again. These are people who've been listening to the podcast for a while. They know we're not premium. Yeah, you will still be able to read us and come check us out. But yeah, I think having seen a little bit of what is to come behind the paywall, this is something that I think is probably worth at least exploring for people. Check it out, see if you like it. If you don't, that's fine. But having had a peek behind the curtain, it's like, oh, there's some real interesting stuff back there that I think would be appealing to if you're listening to this podcast in the middle of May, that is predominantly an Ohio State football podcast at a time when there's no Ohio State football players on campus. Like if you were listening to this podcast right now, you are probably very much in the wheelhouse. There's a lot of overlap, let's say, with the type of person that would probably enjoy a lot and get a lot out of the full Buckeye Scoop experience. So that's just something for your consideration. But yeah, we are not going entirely behind the wall. We will still be out and available for you. So whether or not you choose to subscribe, I would say come and check it out as soon as it launches. We're on track to launch on Thursday this week is the plan.
My hope is that one day I will write something and somebody will be like, whoa, we should make people pay for this. Like, this is pretty good. Let's make people pay for this instead of just giving it out like a flyer for an opening concert, opening act at like Ludlow's or something. Like, no, you're going to have to pay for this one because it is pretty good. That's my hope, Tom. That's where, Mick Walker getting up at 5 a.m. to get on the road drives me. My desire to write something worth paying for, that drives me. So I am completely driven right now to produce quality work that people will be like, all right, I am okay putting some of my money towards this person just this once. That's what I want.
Yeah, well, we all have dreams. So, one thing we should let people know, a lot of the features that you may have known and loved from Gerd in the past will be moving over. You will still get your Michigan Monday at Buckeye Scoop. So, what else are you planning on moving over and kind of continuing? I mean, we talked earlier about, pregame and postgame show and that kind of stuff. We'll have that, and we'll have Michigan Monday. But what else are you planning on bringing over?
I don't even know. I haven't. That's a great segue, Tom, to make me look like an idiot after I just said, I hope someday somebody wants to pay for something that I write. And you're like, hey, well, what else are you bringing over? And I have nothing, Tom.
The correct answer was tortured analogies. That was the correct answer. No? Was that not dated references? No, we're not. No? I thought for sure those were coming over with you.
Yes, I will bring my 80s sitcom references, don't you worry, and my Simpsons references, which... Tom, you are guilty of that as well. I mean, you did it earlier in this show, so don't give me no crap.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, those aren't dated. The show's still on, so it's obviously a very timely cultural reference.
And they're timeless, so there is no datedness if it's timelessness. But the reception has been really, really good in terms of Twitter mentions and things like that. What was not so great, Tom, is a couple days ago when we were being announced, who's all part of this, and I quote tweeted my announcement by saying, whoever likes this or retweets this, I'll follow you back. And there's 1,200 likes. So now literally just click, all of these follow. And then Twitter's like, no, you can't follow anymore. And so then I got to wait a while and it's just follow. And this takes a long time. And sure, maybe I haven't done any of it today, but I will try to get to everybody. And then as somebody responded to me, he's like, rookie move, you idiot. You never ask for likes, only retweets. And so now I know, because and trust, I wasn't following people unless they were following me. That's just one thing. I'm not going to give you a free follow. Yeah, you may have liked something, but if you're not following me, I'm not going to follow you. So yes, Tom, that's my lesson for this week. If you're going to just stick to asking for retweets, don't ask for likes, and I am never doing that again.
Finally, someone has done something wrong on social media and made a mistake. That's the first time in history. Hopefully it will be the last.
So I think that'll cover it, Tom. We are both excited. Anything else you have that you wanted to add to this show?
No, I guess my attitude towards this season has really changed quite a bit in the last 3 weeks, a month. I think, a month ago, everyone was a little bit concerned about, is there going to be a season? When are they going to play? Are they going to play at all? I cannot tell you how excited I am for this season right now. Just the progress that's been made in terms of getting players back on campus, the general trend towards actually playing a season. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, there's going to be a season. We're at this awesome new site, which is, really, I'm really, really excited to be working with part of this team. But this just very much has, here, I'm going to make a slightly dated reference, which I know is really your thing, but I love it when a plan comes together. Like, it all just seems to kind of be falling into place right now for, this has been a really weird spring for a lot of people, but it sure seems like things are coming together for this to be a really, really incredible fall. And I'm really, really excited and optimistic about what's next for us.
Yep. Well said. And this is, I think, the second week in a row, definitely second week in a row we have talked about the A team. Last week it was, who is the Howling Mad Murdoch of the Ohio State roster, who was the B.A. Baracus. And now, Tom, once again, you are dropping stuff from the A team. So why don't you reflect on that for a while? Do that for the next couple of days until our next show. Like I said, we hope to be talking to somebody at Ohio State this week. We'll let you know how that goes, if it goes. And if it doesn't go, we will still be back with you on Thursday. That one of the other things, Tom, and I'll close with this, is we're going to try to be a little bit more uniform now. We have generally been pretty good, like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday-ish, but we're going to try to be on it a little bit better and maybe not sneak in so many Wednesday shows, try to keep them to a Tuesday even though I'm going to have to hurry up to get this one on Tuesday. Don't count this one just yet. But we are going to try to keep everything uniform because we do have a lot of shows planned, a lot of things planned. So we are looking forward to it. All right, then that will do it. First show for the Buckeye Scoop Radio Network is in the books. You can actually follow the account on Twitter at Scoop Pods. And every time we release a podcast, obviously it'll be populated and shown there as well. You can continue to follow Tom and I on Twitter as we are. Tom is at Tom Orr 4. I am at Tony Gerdeman. And we'll, wherever you listen to the shows, you'll continue to still get them. And there will be more shows coming in terms of other podcasts that we'll make aware to you guys. Probably, like I said before, like we talked about last time, we'll do more cross-branding and things of that nature, get you some guests here and there. And so that will do it. Good show, Tom. Nice job. And we will talk to you guys later.
We could steal a car and leave tonight.